Hey, I'm Scott. This is Pocket Pliers. Today we're going to be replacing a Serpentine Belt on a 1997 Ford Mustang with a 3.8. This is a very common motor in these cars, more so than the GTs. They use this 3.8 in various applications. The Thunderbird had them. I believe the Taurus had them. And the Windstar, of course, they were front-wheel drive, so they're turned the wrong ways. But as far as rear-wheel drive application, more so Mustangs, because most Thunderbirds are thinning out. And they use this, something similar to this, in all the Mustangs from 94 on up to 2008, I believe. But we're gonna replace the Serpentine Belt. It is squeaking. I'll start it so you can hear it. It's pretty bad. Oh yeah, that's awful. It's been driving me crazy for weeks, and I'm just now finally getting around to it. Let's shut her off. I went up to the local O'Reilly's. I just got a Master Pro belt to put on here. Part number K060984. Comes with a 1-year warranty. They have another one for $2 more with like a 3-year warranty, but most of these last anywhere from 80 to 100,000 miles, so I'm not that worried about it. I'll never sell this car, so if it goes bad, I'll buy another one. For this job, you'll need an 18mm wrench. You could use 2 if you're not able to hold it. You need a little more leverage. One thing you also want to check when you're doing a Serpentine Belt is check your idler pulleys. This car has 2, one here and one down there. This is a similar job to about anything with a Serpentine Belt. This is just one you can see very well, so we'll use it as an example. But when you take the belt off, you'll want to spin these and check the bearings in them. You also want to check the idler pulley down here, the strength of the tensioner on it. The tensioner pulley, sometimes they go bad and they'll dance, or they'll sometimes they won't. There's actually a marking. I'll see if I can get you a picture of it where you can see where it is, and I'll post it in here. And you'll see that kind of a variance. It'll be like a mark to look like this, and it'll give you kind of what you are and are not allowed to wiggle in. And if it goes over, then obviously the belt's bad, or if it's moving in and out of that variable, then the tension's bad. Another way to check is to just physically grab it and pull it. If it moves super easy, super soft, it's bad also. I've already checked mine, it's good. So let's go ahead and get this belt off. But before we do, we want to check and look for a belt diagram on the hood and make sure it matches the belt diagram or the belt position. If it does not, then you need to draw it out. You got a free piece of paper right here with the belt, which we need to go ahead and let that start relaxing. Just open that up, voila, a piece of paper. Take your pencil and draw your belt diagram. So what I do is, like I said, go ahead and draw this. You want to make sure it matches the one under your hood if you have one. If not, definitely do this. What I do is I start with the crank. C is the bottom pulley, and in my case it goes up to the power steering, alternator, idler, AC compressor, tensioner, water pump, back to the crank. Now I have one that I know for sure is exactly matching what I have already on the car, and this right here will save you so much time. Some cars are the exact same, but it'll just be one position different. Example would be the Taurus versus the Windstar. The tensioner swings this way for one and this way for the other and applies tension. everything's in the exact same position. It's mind-blowing when you realize how ridiculous that is. Just the tensioner difference, and it's the exact same motor with the exact same stuff in the exact same location. It's weird, but let's go ahead and get this off. Like I said, 18mm wrench for this one.
There's a big dog just standing there.
See, it's pretty simple to get off.
Dad, save us, we're gonna die. It can't get over.
So there's no clutch fan here, so it's one less thing to try to get around. Unplug that. For this car, but like, you know, some of the V8 cars have a clutch fan. This one doesn't, makes it easier. Some of them are sideways. You have to go from the bottom. The motors are front wheel drive. You have to go from the bottom to get them off, but they're all basically the same as far as getting them on and off. It may not be an 18mm, maybe a 17 or a 15, or it may be that you have to use a 3/8 drive ratchet in it or whatever. But in this case, with this Mustang, it's an 18mm. But now that we got it off, we can look and see all the wear, all the cracking in this belt. I don't know how well you can see that. It's pretty well wore out though. That, and it's making my hands dirty as I touch it. It's coming off. You see that? I mean, you see what it's doing. It's just wore out, and it's 150 years old. But now that we got it, off, I like to take the original belt, that I just pulled off the car, and the new belt, and match them up. Make sure they're the same length. With my arms, most of them are about a wingspan. Some of them are really short. Like the one from my Nissan Pathfinder was like 22 inches. In this case, it's like 7,615 inches. But we'll take the old belt. We're done with it, so we throw it out. The new belt, it's better on a warm day to do this. It's a little harder because they tend to want to stay folded. But we'll take the new belt and we'll go ahead and line it up, and we'll match it to our diagram that we drew ourselves to make sure we get it right. In this case, we'll start at the bottom. Some cars, you know, you may need to start at the top or a different position. Now that we have everything off though, let's go ahead and take this minute to spin everything and listen for sounds that don't sound good. AC compressor sounds okay. I don't hear any noise from the bearings in the water pump. That sounds a little wore. It probably should be replaced, but maybe we'll make another video on that later. I just put this alternator on so I know it's good. Power steering pump, it feels good. You're not supposed to spin the crank that easy. This last tensioner, it sounds alright. Not great, but like I said, if they're bad, we'll do another video on that later. Let's go ahead and get this on. If you're wondering what sound they make, think about like a roller skate wheel or a skateboard. When those bearings wear out, they whoosh, make a kind of a dry sound. They'll spin too fast, and that's a bad thing. You don't want that.
Dad, there's a dog in the woods and he doesn't know how to get out.
I guess I have to go help a dog later. Let's get this done first.
Dog in the woods. It looks like a golden retriever.
I try to use the weird little bends in the belt from where it was sitting in the package in my favor. Sometimes it works out. Sometimes it just makes it worse. Like I said, it's not terribly cold. It's only about 40 degrees, but these belts don't bend really well at 40 degrees. They like at 90 degrees. Let's see what we got. Almost everything on here.
So into the insides.
I'm hooked. Alright, we got all but that one tensioner on here. And we're done, except for starting to make sure everything's aligned. Now once you get it on, you want to go ahead and take the time to look at every single pulley and make sure you're on perfectly straight. Excuse me. If you do not, it will zip off or it'll damage your belt. And you don't want to put a new belt on just for it to zip right off and then you're back where you started. And you don't want to put it on and cause damage to it, because if it gets caught off of a rib, and I've seen this before, it'll cut the belt and you'll lose one of your ribs in the belt. But just take this extra second to look. You know, I see everything's good. So let's fire it up, make sure it runs.
I need hot hands.
It's only like 40 degrees.
I know.
No more cheap, cheap, cheap. Yay! I typically let these, when I put a belt on, I'll let it run for a little while. If it's gonna zip off, it'll usually do it pretty quick, or if there's a problem, you'll know relatively quickly. But in this case, we should be good.
We just can't have cheap, cheap, cheap. I always complained about it in the morning.
That's right.
No more cheap, cheap, cheap.
No more cheap, cheap, cheap. All right, so there we go. We got it fixed. We're ready to go. For this belt should last, like I said, 60 to 100,000 miles or so, which is typical. So I'll try and get a shot of that belt diagram so you know what you're looking for. In this case, it's right here, and that matches what I drew. And sometimes there'll be a variable, like it'll say, the air conditioner. Some cars don't have that, so it won't have the AC compressor on it. So it'll show you like an alternate diagram without it, or something will be in a different position. But it'll be something similar to this on them. Here's the tensioner, and you can see it's a little grody. And so we may do a video on that later if the sound comes back. But it didn't make a sound when I spun it. It spins free. Didn't have any grinding. There's the other tensioner I was telling you about. I'll get you a good shot of it. Right there. And let's see if I can get you a shot. Yeah, you really can't see it, but down here, right there, is where the that little dancing line is, what you're looking for. But there you have it, 3.8 Mustang Serpentine Belt replacement. This is not a hard job. Don't be scared to try and tackle some of this stuff yourself. And if you are scared to, it's okay. Or if you don't have a tool, or you feel like you're lost, don't be ashamed of that. That's part of what YouTube's for. We try to help everybody out. We're a good community. And if all else fails, find you a shop that you trust and get them to help you do it. That's what those guys are there for too. Not everybody's capable. And some people are capable, they just don't have a location to do something like this. So, like I said, take care of your cars, guys. If you like this video, hit the like, hit subscribe. You can ring the bell if you want to, or don't. I don't care about the bell ringing. I would like for you to hit like and subscribe, though. That'd be pretty awesome. Leave a comment. Anything like that. I'm sure there'll be more on this car later. I own this car. If you want to see more videos of Mustangs, I have numerous other ones floating around. So, like I said, more videos to come. I still got stuff coming for the Heap Jeep section. I got to put an antenna in it, plus there's some service work I got to do to it. A radiator, it's leaking, so there'll be more of that coming in the future. Just stay tuned for it. Like I said, like, subscribe, leave comments, suggestions, feedback, anything. So thanks, guys.